right, Sam. So, what are you hearing in the streets? What's going on out there?
Why do I have to sign a piece of paper to see a house? Why? My
Well,
compadre didn't have to sign anything.
Why do I have to sign an agreement to see a house? Right?
Full disclosure for everybody. This came into effect, August 17th?
August 17th.
Which for some reason, I don't know why on a Saturday, but
Right.
it is what it is. But now every buyer, anytime you want to see a house, it doesn't matter if it's just a single house, you do have to sign some documents, okay? Or a document or some documents, depending on how many houses you want to see.
So it's called the buyer broker agreement. Okay. So before, if you still don't know what's going on with the industry in the real estate industry, before if you call me and you're like, hey Ruben, I want to check out this house, I was able to show you the house, no big deal. But now before we show you the house, we have to have an agreement in writing stating of what my job is gonna be.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you would like me to go any further, meaning showing you a home,
Giving advice.
giving advice or something, then we have to have some kind of agreement in place, right? But it's not too bad.
No.
What is it that you have experienced so far on all the changes that we have?
I'll be honest with
done?
you, it's just educating the consumer, letting them know what we're doing. And it's actually a positive thing because now they know up front what we're doing in writing. They get to see on a piece of document where I'm signing and they're signing.
And here's the thing, like sometimes we assume that our clients knew what we were doing behind the scenes, right?
yeah.
Like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work that we put in to get a family into a home. And a lot of times we showcase, when we're giving out the keys, when they're already so happy and celebrating,
We
right?
just don't do videos.
Popping bottles in front of the house, but little that is like all the work behind it.
Yeah. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of people that we have to work with. I mean, you got us, you got the listing agent, you got inspectors, the appraisers, the other sellers or buyers, escrow,
Searching for the right home.
negotiating, inspections.
Yeah. So I have helped families that, they know what they want and it's a pretty fast transition that can take a couple of months. And I have helped families that can take over a year, depending on what they're looking for. So sometimes we assume that our agent is making a whole lot of money, but little that they know it's all the work that we have done for them to get them to that point. So I had a family just email me, and I can use this as a reference. I send her my buyer's guide of what what entails, and I've been wanting to meet with them in person or through Zoom, so I can explain my value, right?
Yeah.
Like how I'm going to help them from the beginning all the way to the closing table.
Till the video.
What is it?
To the video.
To the video, right? Yeah. And then, but they haven't responded to my emails or text messages. And then they started digging in, like it was very suddenly they started digging in on what's happening with the market. And now they think that they can look at houses unrepresented, which they can. But what are the consequences if somebody says, you know what, I can do this on my own. I don't need an agent. I want to represent myself. Like, what are the consequences if somebody says, I want to buy my house on my own and I don't want no representation?
Yeah, it's a very bad decision on somebody that wants to do that. It's just like, for example, going through a divorce. Would you want to represent yourself? Are you going to get the best out? Yeah, you're going to save money, but are you going to get the best outcome?
Well,
Maybe
and I don't think that's the best example.
Don't go through a divorce.
No.
Just saying.
No, I'm saying like in real estate, you do want to hire someone because, like there's a lot of negotiation that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
If you're representing the seller or if you're representing the buyer, like for instance, like the kind of properties that they're looking at, I know for a fact that we can negotiate pricing based on what's going on with the market. I know we can negotiate closing cost assistance. I know we can probably potentially negotiate a rate buy down, lower the rate so they can benefit. And I can also negotiate my commission to be paid for by the seller. My buyer might not have to deal with my fees in order to represent them. I can still negotiate that to be covered by the seller, and that's something that is very much possible, and it is happening right now.
And most consumers don't know about it.
And most consumers don't know. They think that automatically you have to pay your agent if you hire someone, but in reality, you can negotiate everything
Yeah.
right up front, and that's what is happening right now. Like my sellers are more than happy to pay the other agents
Oh
commissions
yeah.
to get their home sold.
Same here. My last two sellers, same thing. They're okay. They don't mind it. They understand it. They see the benefit in it.
Yeah. So if I'm the buyer's agent and I'm searching for a home and I see a property that's been listed for, let's say, a couple of weeks, um, one of the questions that we'll be discussing, or one of the conversations that we're gonna be having is, hey, is your seller with the other agent, with the other party,
Yeah.
is your seller paying commission, right? And half the times they'll say yes,
Yeah.
because they want to get their property sold. If they know that the housing inventory, there's a lot of competition out there,
There's a lot.
and you're not paying compensation or commission, however you want to call it, more than likely that home is going to sit on the market.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, they're going to end up selling it for a lot less than how much you could have sold it if you were paying compensation or commission.
So I'm going to talk to the sellers out there. If you really don't think there's a lot of competition, go to a new build right now.
Right.
A lot of these new builds are offering rate buy downs. When I say rate buy downs, they're buying down the interest rates. Not only that, they're offering to pay for the buyer's closing costs on quick closes. Not only that, they're also paying for the agent's commission. They'll let the agents know up front. So that's a lot of competition for the resale. It doesn't mean you can't sell the property. You just have to offer that compensation, and believe me, it helps so much.
So if I'm a seller, Sam, and I'm thinking about selling my house, one of the questions I'm going to ask you is, hey, Sam, is this the best time to sell? What would you say?
Depending on your situation.
And it really comes down to that, right?
You can't think of anybody else but yourself.
Here's the one thing, and it kind of sucks because I saw a reel just recently, right? And they say that men live up to 70, 75, 76 years.
Yeah.
Not that we're old, but like if you put things in perspective, like let's be real here.
Okay.
If you put things in perspective, I'm 40. I'll be 41 this year. Like that means that I only have like 30 years, 35 years to live. If knock on wood, right?
Knock on wood.
Nothing crazy happens before then. But like, if I'm not content of the place where I live right now, and I can easily afford a better place, better home, bigger home, and I know I can do this. I know I can. My family deserves a better place. And the only thing that is stopping me is timing the market to see if this is the right time or not to be there. If this is the right time or not. Like, in all reality is I'll probably be making that move just because I only have 30 years to live in like, it kind of sucks to put things like that, but that's real.
Yeah. It's funny when I hear people saying, oh, I'm waiting for the market to crash, or I'm waiting for interest rates to crash or to go down. But those same buyers are paying 18, 19, 20% interest on their credit cards. Those same buyers are paying 8, 9, 10% on their auto loans. And that's okay, but
no, and then rent.
And rent, you know. Don't get me started on rent.
Yeah.
I mean, $2,000, let's say $2,000 a month, you multiply that by 12.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money.
So it really comes down to people's situation and timing. Yeah, we want to time as much as we can.
Yeah.
But if it's something that it's hurting your family, depending on where you are in life, then I will making the move sooner than later.
Absolutely. Why not?
So I like to use examples just because we have helped many families go through the process of buying and selling. And every time that I had a family who's thinking about, upgrading to a bigger house, better house, and that's one of the biggest questions, right? Like, is this the right time? And every time that we have done that move, they're in a much happier place now than they were before.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe better location, better school district, you name it. So it really comes down to people's situation, but I think it's worth it. And if it's not worth it, and if it's not the right time, then we can at least give you a better suggestion of when to do it.
And that's one of the values that as agents, your agents can bring. We talk to a lot of different lenders. We know about a lot of different programs. If you try to do this on your own, I guarantee you're going to go probably to a big bank, I'm not going to name any, thinking that that's your only option. There are so many different options out there for buyers. Your agents will know about these options.
And the thing that we do, we like to be educating so we can educate our clients, right?
Absolutely.
If somebody says, "Hey, Ruben, well, I'm a first time home buyer. Maybe I need some kind of down payment assistance program that can benefit me and help me with my down payment. That we can guide them through the right direction."
How many lenders do you bring here to the team to talk to the team?
So right now within the team we have about 5 different lenders that we work with, just because every single one of them has different programs.
Absolutely.
And we like to match our clients with the best program out there.
Yep.
Right.
Which makes total sense.
All right, so let's go back to the buyer broker agreement, right? Now, so if somebody says, "I want to look at 123 Main Street today, Sam,
Okay.
at 5 p.m. Can you show it to me?"
I can, but I'll have to discuss with the buyer about the buyer broker agreement, and I can send it to you electronically and you can read it before you sign it electronically as well.
Okay. Now, what if I say, "I don't want to sign this. Like, I don't do. Like, I barely met you. Like, I don't want to sign this agreement."
That does happen. There is a single property viewing form that we can do. And then if you end up buying that property, then obviously there'll be compensation, but we can do it specifically for one property.
So that's the biggest concern, right? That buyers have when you're trying to tour a home. Like, "Hey, I want to look at this house, but then I have to sign this agreement with you."
Yes.
And yeah, we can do the single property, but keep this in mind: everything is negotiable,
Yes.
right? Which means that yes, we're gonna have an agreement where I'm gonna earn what I'm worth, but that doesn't mean that you have to pay for it. That doesn't mean that you have to pay for it. That means that if I do deliver, I can also negotiate the seller to cover that fee,
Absolutely.
so you don't have to deal with it,
Yep.
right? So
And it still happens.
it's happening. I mean, right, the way the market is right now, it is happening. Once the market changes, like right now, we're dealing more of a buyer's market,
Yes.
right? Where we can negotiate closing costs, we can negotiate repairs, we can negotiate compensation to be paid for by the seller, so the buyer doesn't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But once it becomes a seller's market, this is where the real players are gonna come into fruition,
Yes.
right? Meaning, like, you really gotta deliver a great service to your clients so they can pay you,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? I mean,
Absolutely.
it's really gonna come down to that.
You should be going through an interview process. The consumer should be interviewing their realtor and asking them those important questions.
Every time that I have helped someone buy a house, and I have gone through the process of, we call it the buyer broker presentation, right? Where we explain the process of buying a house. One, the trust goes over the roof. Like I'm not going with nobody else, right? I'm staying with my realtor. One. Number two, referrals. Like, this is where people are like, "Hey, hands down, I'm gonna, refer you to everyone that I know."
Yeah.
Because they know that our representation is worth a whole lot more.
Yes.
A whole lot more. And we earn what we're worth.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, every family that I have helped and explain the process, and taking the at least half hour, 45 minutes to explain the process of what you're going to expect during the home buying process, it's a game changer.
All right.
And at that point, people knows exactly where you're coming from. They understand the lingo. They understand, what's earnest money, what's inspection, what's the appraisal for, what's the
expectations.
final walkthrough. Every expectation. They know exactly what's going to happen. When they get their keys, they know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's no
And
turning
I
back.
know it's happened to you where you've had a few buyers turn into realtors.
So check this out. A lot of my team members have been clients of mine, and they reach out like, "Hey, Ruben, how do you get your license?" And
Yeah.
I just tell them, like, go take the school, pass the exams, and once you're ready, reach out, and then we can start the process. So I still have team members that have been with me for many, many years, that were my personal past clients.
Yes.
And they dealt with me when they purchased their first house,
Which is pretty nice.
which is pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, let's go over what's going on with the numbers right now, with active listings.
All right, what do you got?
So last month we were at 20,000 20,436 active listings. Okay. I think when it was the seller's market couple of years ago, I think we were down to what, 4 or 5,000.
Oh my goodness, it was less than 7.
It was pretty wild.
It
Like, it was like
crazy.
4,000 like
Yeah.
active listings. Like if you're a buyer, like when the inventory is up, like this is the perfect time for you to buy because you can negotiate a lot that
Not
can
only
help
that,
you.
there's options.
There's a lot of options.
When you had 4,000 listings, you saw a house, there was 20 buyers, and you had a bit overbid above the appraised value.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I used to stand in front of the house. I would take a selfie with my clients, right? And with the house that we were thinking about putting an offer, we would take a selfie, and then I would submit I would text the selfie
agent.
to the listing agent to let them know, like, hey, we're gonna submit an offer, and this is who we are. You know.
So buyers, if you're looking to buy, do not try to wait the market out and then have to deal with that market.
So yeah, month of June, 20,436 listings. Month of July, it kind of dropped a little bit, 20,173 listings. And these are active listings.
Nice.
Now, new listings, this is where it gets interesting, and this is where you got to be very careful, okay? Like if you follow the trends, you know where is the market going. So, same thing. June, there was 8,191 listings in the month of June, okay? New listings. And then for the month of July, it dropped to 6,686 listings and is going down as we speak.
Okay.
Now, why is that?
That's a good question. What do you think?
Rates.
The rates.
So if the rates continue to drop as they have, the market's gonna get a lot more active.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I had a listing, sat on the market for 3 weeks, right? And we priced it well. We market the property, we done open houses, we've done everything we can to be able to promote this listing. And if you say, well, I'm selling my listing in 1 day, is because you're pricing it very aggressively.
Yeah.
But if that really comes down to your seller, but we priced this property where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And we've been in the market for 3 weeks. No offers, open houses, social media posts, you name it. And just this week, the rates have been dropping in the last week or so, we received 3 offers.
Nice.
Now we have 3 offers. We went on the contract last night, and then we have two more buyers that we're thinking about submitting an offer. And I told them it's too late. We already went on the contract last night. We're changing status today. So this is where the market's starting to move. So if you have been thinking about buying a house before it gets more, it gets
Congested
more
with buyers.
What is it?
Congested.
Yeah, more congested. Pull the trigger. If you find the right house, start negotiating. Don't overthink it too long.
The minute you start dealing with 2, 3, 4 different offers, it gets more difficult. It gets a lot more difficult to get your closing costs paid for.
It becomes more of a seller's.
Yeah. The seller has the upper hand at that point.
So luckily, my seller was super excited because, we've been trying to get this property sold, and now we have 3 offers, and we just went on the contract. So if you're thinking about buying a house, if you're an agent, check out my listings. We have some of them that they're still available. Okay, let's look at the sold listings. So for the month of June, I'm sorry. I'm using June and July.
Okay.
Because we don't have the month of August numbers quite yet. Month of June, sold listings was 5,932 pending listings. 5,932, and then pending listings went up again.
Nice.
Do you see that? So it went up to 6,208 listings for the month of July, which means that more homes are going under contract faster.
More buyers came out.
More buyers are coming out.
Yes.
Okay. Here's the best one. So sold listings are going up. Pending listings. I was talking about pending listings before, but it was sold listings. So sold listings, 6,320, okay? And it just went up to 6,208. So it actually dropped a little bit. It dropped a little bit from July to June, but the numbers are very, very close. We see the trajectory that the market is getting a whole lot more active. So to wrap it up, what do you want to tell our buyers or our sellers?
Get out there. If you're thinking about buying, go talk to somebody, talk to a professional. Feel free to call us. Our information is down below. But believe me, you're going to get a lot out of this meeting. You know, it's going to put you. The more information you know, the better decisions you can make for yourself and your family.
That's exactly right. And then if you're a realtor, take the time to sit down with your clients, explain the process, learn the process if you're fairly new to the industry. And that right there, you're going to be the biggest difference when it comes to negotiating. You have to become a negotiator. You have to know how to negotiate. And that's why our clients come back to us over and over again, because they know, besides marketing, that we know how to negotiate on their behalf. And that's what they need. Yes. They need somebody that can negotiate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Facebook, everybody that joined us, thank you for checking us out. Our podcast will go live. We'll be going live next Friday. And you can listen to our podcast. You can listen to our episodes. And thank you for sticking around.
Thanks a lot, guys.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Care.
Like kind of a surprise look. This might be for the thumbnail. Like that.